Good evening, space lasers, and welcome to Sci Fi Hi Fi here on our spinning space station somewhere up in the stars, away from the maddening antics of Earth. My name's Kalina Rin. I am one of your hosts. My host beside me, my co host beside me, oh, wrong side, is Etienne. Hello, sir.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Amazing.
So, we are here this week with the one and only Melody Jane from ThXtcrime and a plethora of other cool projects. So, Melody, give us the comic book one issue of, like, story of you. Wow, that was a sentence.
Okay. I am. My name's Melody Wachtel. Melody Jane. I have. I do a lot of stuff, actually, don't I? I am probably best known for doing ThXtcrime with my good pals Kezia and Dot and my girlfriend Mara. I help run the DIY label Alien Heart Records. It's a trans first record label. And I'm gonna try and recite every other group and project I'm involved with, but I would always feel like I'm forgetting some. I'm in a pop punk band called This Is a Stick Up. I have a harsh noise project called Zoey with a period. I'm in two noisecore groups called Cishead on Radar and Spyro Girls. I have a grindcore project called Gender War Machine. I think that's it. Oh yeah, and I'm not a part of the group, but I did record synthesizers for an album by Neon Hiss, which Mara actually did vocals for.
Awesome. So, Mara is in the chat saying, babe, hi, I'm on lunch.
Yeah.
So, thanks for tuning in, Mara.
Yeah, thank you, love you.
So, so a lot of these projects are in the harsh noise or cybergrind or noisy kinds of music, right?
Yeah.
So
that's kind of my wheelhouse.
How did you first start engaging with harsh noise, power electronics, or all that stuff? Like what sparked that love?
I mean, I've always, for as long as I've like been listening to music, I've like been really into distorted sounds and stuff like that. I think the first time I ever heard distorted guitar was when I was like probably like kindergarten age, hearing Anna Ang by They Might Be Giants and hearing that overdriven guitar riff and be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. And ever since then, I've always been into very loud, kind of high energy music. For a long time, punk rock was my bread and butter, and it still is to a pretty strong degree. But I started dabbling in harsh noise after seeing a local experimental music performance a couple years back. And I had some friends who were into like screamo and grindcore, white belt type stuff, who got me into that scene, and that it was sort of where ThXtcrime came to be.
All right, so I think Rin, I think we wanted to show a ThXtcrime video.
Yes.
To introduce our dear viewers to the wonders of Big Money Cybergrind.
Big Money Cybergrind. Yeah, we do.
So not for the faint of heart, but it's great.
It's funny because Not for the Faint of Heart is another band that I was in at one point. That's my brother's metal band. That was my brother's band. I played bass with them in the last little year or so of their existence.
Awesome.
It was a fun gig.
Yeah, just before we play this, I'd just like to say hello to everyone in the chat. Lida clinically bored the show. Love it. Dante is joining us from Wales. Hello, sir. And also our mediator, Abby, and Peter are both in the chat. So, yay, woohey. That's great.
Nice
Yeah,
little crowd.
yeah, it's a good crowd. It's a good crowd. Just to let you guys know, we have a sub goal tonight. If we get 1 subscriber tonight, big numbers, big numbers, we're gonna have a raffle, and the raffle you will win a digital box set which has stuff from Death and Gloria, Alpha Bodis, and ThXtcrime. Does it have ThXtcrime in there? I guess it
Yep.
does. Yeah,
Yes.
lots of other stuff, and just a,
It is a zip. Sorry, I didn't mean
no.
to-
Go ahead. You go ahead. You good? You go for
It's. I have included for you all a zip file of our debut album on your computer.
it. So there you go. So that's for the raffle, and the raffle will get done when we get 1 subscriber, Prime or otherwise. It doesn't matter. Just go for it. Go for it. Yeah, let's play this video if I can work out how to get it. Do it. Oh yeah. Hello. Oh, we have our 1 subscriber by the looks of things. Ooh, dear.
Awesome.
We did it.
Oh no, we haven't. We've got a follower. That was a follower. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Still thank you.
Yeah, 2 followers now. Thank you for following. I'm just trying to get this thing to work. Well, come on, work.
So while
Why not?
we're waiting for the video, I think the song we're going to play is Manic Panic Attack. Do you have any cool story behind that song or fun thing that happened during the recording process of it or whatnot that you'd like to share? Putting you on the spot. there.
Well, that was one of the first songs we got put together, actually, both in terms of just me and Kezia collaborating starting out, and it ended up being our second single once we added Mara to the group and she lended her vocals to it. And Mara used her graphic design skills to create a really cool AMV type video for it, which you'll see here in a second.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
good. I'm good to go now. Thank you for putting up
All
with my
right.
slackness. That's just terrible.
Well, time for Manic Panic Attack by ThXtcrime. That's my NPR voice.
Yeah, just do it. Let's see what.
Cool.
Hopefully this will work. I'm hoping the audio will work. I hope everything works. Let's find out. Let's find out.
Okay, string is here.
Amazing.
Yeah, so Mara is saying in the chat that it is probably the best AMV she's made next to the Zombie Shark one. The Zombie Shark one was indeed excellent.
Yes,
Zombie Shark
it's
is
a very good one.
another
Both
great...
the band. Yeah. Mara's AMVs and Zombie Shark are a match made in heaven.
Yes. So Dante is asking, are those clips for Gunbusters? And Mara answered yes. So I don't know if the yes was to Zombie Shark being awesome or the clips being from Gunbusters, but I agree with both if they're true.
I think that's what they're. I think I remember her saying that's what they're from. I'm not actually familiar with that anime, but if memory serves, it's one of her favorites, and that was where the decision to use that as the source
Awesome.
came
So
from.
Dante says it's on his anime watch list, and the clips are from Funbuster, Gunbuster,
Yeah.
Funbuster. That's a party metal band name right there.
So my partner Riamu listened to my YouTube channel in preparation for us coming on here, and you've become his favorite band now. Well done. He doesn't like a lot, but he likes the chaos of that. So
I'm glad that people continue to enjoy our music. Honestly, I never expected ThXtcrime to blow up the way it seems like we have, and it's been a really fun experience. It's cool. I mean, I would be having fun regardless. I like the music we make, but it's nice having so many people who seem to vibe with it.
Yeah, it's kind of the icing on the cake when you make something you love and then other people like appreciate it and share it around. And
oh yeah. This is like the first project I've ever been in where I actually like catch myself just like listening to it just for the fun of it. It's not that I have like any less excitement for my other projects, but I think part of it is just with anything I like do vocals on, I get psyched out hearing my own voice, but so it's nice to have one where I'm not the vocalist.
Yeah, the blockage I'd say, or like the annoyingness of hearing one's own voice never kind of goes away, I think, and like that's what I like about Alpha Botus as well, since I'm only singing like 25% of the time, and I didn't write the whole thing. Like I wrote half of it, so I can enjoy all of the parts that aren't mine without that, you know, self-critical voice being like, you could have done better or whatnot.
I definitely had that with like some of the riffs that I wrote. Like I don't know if I'd be like, oh, I don't know if these riffs are any good, but usually after like hearing them like all produced and with vocals on, I'm like, oh, actually this is awesome.
So how does a ThXtcrime song like comes into being? How what is your process like with the band? Who does what?
It's mainly a lot of like bouncing files back and forth between each other, because we're like I said in the pre-show, we've got a member who lives in the UK, we've got a member in Pennsylvania, 2 members in Illinois. So that's kind of the way everything has to sort of get put together. When it started out as just me and Kezia, and it usually would start out with me writing out parts in a notation program on a staff, exporting that as a MIDI file, and then sending that over, and she would take that MIDI, throw it into Logic, put sounds and everything to it, write more parts, and we'd go back and forth that way until we had a finished track. On some of our more recent stuff, it's actually been a lot of, she's been working on, Kaz has been working on some solo kind of dance, IDM, Aphex Twin type stuff. And every now and then she'll send something in that kind of vein, and I'll hear it and be like, oh, we could put a guitar here and heavy metal drums here, and just kind of turn it into a ThXtcrime song. And one of the more recent ones was she sent a track that she made, like this IDM track, and there was one drum beat in there that I thought was really cool, so I like ripped that out, changed some stuff around to make it fit on like a heavy metal kit, and then like added some guitars to it.
Awesome.
Recently, Mara's also been, on top of doing vocals, she's been adding more production and synthesizers and stuff to it, which has been really cool. On one track that we're going to be releasing in a couple of months, you'll hear some of her work.
Awesome. So it's really then, like, oh, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then our most recent addition to the band, Dot, she is a really talented drummer, and she's been kind of going over some files we've been sitting on and kind of spicing up the drums, because I'm not a drummer by trade. I think I'm like pretty serviceable at programming, but it's nice to have someone who like actually really knows their way around a kit to make it, like bring it to that next level.
Yeah, because there's I think I find myself programming a lot of drums that there's a wide margin between knowing that you shouldn't have the drummer hit 5 things at once, and then writing parts that actually feel like they've been thought by a drummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt, my drummer, will attest that I sometimes write horrible parts.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do have an advantage of not using any actual instruments. We everything for the tracks is MIDI, so that gives us an opportunity to kind of get silly with some stuff and not really have to worry about whether it could actually be playable.
Yeah. There's definitely I think that's a cool thing about the era of music we live in, is that things being playable is not a restraint anymore. Like, it can be. I know it is for, like, for example, a band I'm in called Diplomat. We're a power trio, and we do like alt rock, and we really try to make stuff that we can all like play through, just us three live, because that's the vibe. But for ThXtcrime, you have like these insane drum beats that I don't think any human is capable of pulling off.
Yeah, that was the idea. I really like throw a lot of like extra tone type stuff in there, and it's always really fun to do. And I try to, every now and then I try to do some stuff like that with the guitars too, and I think that can be really fun. I've never even attempted to do anything on an actual guitar with those parts. I think if I did, I would fail miserably, because I'm not even that great of a guitarist to begin with. But I don't know.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. I've always, I think that's why I've found cybergrind as a genre so liberating, is that you can really just remove yourself from thinking about it in terms of instruments and just really go crazy with it.
So, Rin, I know you're playing as a one-person band, but you've expanded as you've added a few people to the band, right? And was that an issue for you, like having parts that were not really meant to be played live or whatnot, and having to translate that?
Well, basically all of my parts were always meant to be played live. I just didn't have any humans to play live with them.
Okay. So
yeah, so everything, I always wanted a band, so everything was written to be in a band situation. But I don't have any friends, so that's it really. Just do it on my own. I no, that's a lie. I didn't have any friends who could be trusted to be in a band. A serious band is really what it was.
There's always those people who you like hanging out with, but you wouldn't trust with the keys to the van,
Right.
Yeah.
So moving on a bit from music, just for a moment. So ThXtcrime, of course, has all of that anime aesthetic going on, and I wondered if, like, what draws you to anime, pun intended, or what resonated with you in that aesthetic, and what are some of your favorites that you watched either growing up or recently?
I can't really, I don't know if I can say why specifically anime was such a draw for this project. I think it's just, I feel like it's a common interest between all of us. I feel like it kind of fits thematically with the cybergrind thing, especially when it comes to like sci-fi anime. And it's just a really cool, there's like such a really cool visual language in that medium that's cool to be like bring inspiration from.
Yeah, I can definitely, like, I the visuals do fit really well, and I think I also see the fact that you're writing music that's like unplayable or not supposed to be played, and anime can pull off some stunts that would not be possible in a movie, and do all of these like reality bending things. Like, I don't know if you've if both of you watched Paranoia Agent by Satoshi Kon, and if like he does these frames that like you're watching a scene and then the scene becomes a dreamlike sequence and then it goes back to reality, but like you can't really know when it leaves reality and when it comes back. Which I think
really
is
cool.
I highly recommend that show. My girlfriend showed it to me, and it's like I'm not personally usually a big fan of anime. Just it usually connects with me less than live action, but that really drew me in. So we're gonna say bye to Leda because she has to go, but thanks for tuning in. She says that this is a really cool interview and that Melody is rad and smart, so
I'm flattered.
can't but agree. And Freelop, so Peter in the chat is saying Paranoia Agent is excellent. Satoshi is great in general. So yeah, I cannot agree more with you, Peter, there.
In terms
Rin.
of
oh, sorry, go ahead.
In terms of anime that inspired us directly, I think of one of the biggest ones would be probably Neon Genesis Evangelion. I only watched it for the first time this past summer, actually with Mara. It's one of her favorite anime, and she showed it to me. And but we have, I think there's like precedent for that anime in particular, and like that to cross over with grindcore. I think because you've got Discordance Axis, really legendary kind of technical grindcore band who did an entire album, The Inalienable Dreamless, based on that anime. And then you've got the one grindcore band, Gendo Ikari, which is of course named after a character from that show. And they have albums called Unit 1 and Unit 2. So I always found that connection really cool, and there's a lot of really cool imagery and themes in that anime that are cool to like write in reference to and sort of pull inspiration from. Another one is I haven't actually seen this one, but Mara has Serial Experiments Lane, which I've been meaning to watch it because I have a lot of my friends telling me it's good, but Mara actually pulled a sample of some of the dialogue from that for one of our recent Digisets.
Awesome. I know that to shout out a fellow Montrealer, Anna Pest from Montreal, also one woman grind slam tech death band.
That sounds right up my alley.
Oh yeah, I'll send you her music. It's really great.
I'm excited to hear that.
She did like a full album, I think, drawing inspiration from Eva as well, and
nice.
I really have to like introduce her to the crowd of like the cybergrind crowd because she's like she's not calling it cybergrind, but it's, you know, tech debt riffs with synths and.
You know, so we're pretty all inclusive in the cybergrind group. That's one of the things I've always appreciated about that sort of scene, I guess. There's artists that are like essentially just a breakcore artist who happens to use like cybergrind riffs. Mm-hmm. Or there's people who like basically just make metalcore grind, but they have like synthesizers and programmed drums. So there's like this huge gamut of sounds and styles. I've always thought that was really cool, especially when there's so many genres and heavy music in particular. There's like such like strict gatekeeping of what something can or can't sound like. I like being in a scene where that's not the case.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. They even welcome synthwave weirdos like me.
Yeah. But we call ourselves False Grind, and I've always enjoyed having that sort of what was probably originally used as kind of a pejorative against not real grindcore bands being used as like an actual genre descriptor. It's like yeah, we're not we're fake grinds, and we love what we're doing, and enjoy these synth leads and metalcore breakdowns.
Yep. There's also slight spoiler for an Alpha album that will come in the future. I've been adding like breakdowns and very heavy riffs to Alpha for some parts of our next the other record after that. We're kind of 2 records in advance as far as writing goes. Just because like I saw like Zombie Shark playing live, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, okay, I can do that with Alpha and then a disco beat.
Hell yeah.
So we've got Peter telling us he rewatched Neon Genesis Evangelion last year, and Dante saying he can't wait to see NGE 3.0. I'm not privy to like, I haven't watched the show, so I don't know what he's referring to in particular, but I'm guessing it's
I think that's the new movie that
awesome.
has just came out in Japan. It's not out here yet, so
yeah,
have to wait.
Yeah, the good old tease.
Yeah, America and the rest of the world gotta wait on the.
I'm glad that
everything.
we're not in an era anymore where like music gets released in Japan 6 months before everywhere else, and you have to wait for like the new Iron Maiden album for 6 months or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you have to buy it not knowing if it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's always interesting to read about like bands from the past and reading about how these, back before the internet and everything, these these like genres and artists would kind of like trickle their way across the ocean by means of, it's like, you hear like the 60s British rock bands, and it actually took like people physically bringing American rock and roll records over to England to like for anyone from the UK to hear rock and roll. So yeah, it's kind of a blessing being in an era where music from anywhere in the world is at your fingertips. I feel like that's helped fuel this like never-ending thirst for new music I have, just because I know it's out there and I know I can listen to it.
Yep. So like this past year, I've been listening to mostly music from my peers in the underground, and it's what surprised me is that I don't really miss listening to the bigger bands. Like, I still pay attention to like my favorites and whatnot, but there's as much good music that is virtually unknown, like lurking about on the internet, than there is on like the charts. And it's
yeah, I've been pretty much the same way. Like, a lot of what I listen to lately is other bands from the cybergrind scene. Like, I like Zombie Shark and Blind Equation, Codex Orzova. Those are all most of the albums that I have in my regular rotation. There's always a few albums that I keep coming back to over and over, and then I just, with everything else, I just kind of cycle through stuff and come back to it less frequently. And it's usually, a lot of the time it's my friends' music who is what I frequently come back to.
Yeah, no, definitely. What about you, Rin? What are your listening habits these days?
I don't, so I've started, basically, Riamu, my partner, was just like, you don't listen to any new music. You just listen to regurgitated nonsense. And he's right, I do. I listen to like working out music, because if I'm working on music, I'm not listening to music. I don't work for the civil service anymore, so I don't spend a whole heap of my time being mindlessly bored and trying to escape. So I don't actually listen to a lot of music anymore. So I've made a point of listening when I go running to the latest release in rock, which is I can't even stand it. It's pretty bad. It's glam. Basically, if it's in the newest releases, it's all glam. So I've started listening to just the newest releases of Spotify for that week or whatever. And you generally get a little. It's mostly pop. It's mostly crap pop, but the songwriting's pretty good, if nothing else. So I'm just trying to. That's what I'm listening to. It's just whatever happens to come on to the Spotify thing. Mostly because the only thing other than that I listen to is my own album, which is finished mixing now, and I have to, we've just finished
Yeah.
like 6 months of listening to 5 songs continuously over and over again. So that's all done.
Yeah.
But I'm a podcast listener rather than music. But I need to get back into music, really. I think.
Yeah, I have phases. I think so I'll go for 3 months listening to like 1 album's worth of music a day and listening to talk radio a lot, and then or podcasts, and then I'll listen to like 72 records in a week and for 3 months, and then go back to not listening to music for 3 months.
My music listening is actually pretty consistently high. With my current job, I am doing, it's a lot of desk work and a lot of computer work. So I'm pretty much always have music on in the background, and it's weird. It depends on the day, really. Like some days I get in a mood for a specific genre and I stay in that genre, and other days I'm just all over the place. It could be like I think one day I was like literally listening to some slam bands with just like all these like heavy drop tune knuckle draggy riffs, and then I go straight to listening to like Sophie or Arca or something like that. So yeah, I'm all over the place in terms of like getting between like hyperpop and EDM and heavy metal and hardcore punk.
This all checks out when you listen to ThXtcrime. These are all, these are all things that one would maybe not expect, but not be surprised by, which is great.
It's I always really enjoy talking about like our influences and like the respective genres that each of us enjoy and how that kind of informs our sound. Like I'm in, like I said, I'm into a lot of things, but my main wheelhouse is like punk and hardcore punk, and more recently grindcore and noise. Kezia, who does most of the production, she is really into gent and club music and stuff like that, and she actually has a project that she calls her music gent step.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
gent meets dubstep. It's really cool. And then Mara is very into she has her like hyper pop PC music thing, and also really digs like post hardcore. Like she says Every Time I Die is a big influence on her vocals for that. And then Dot, her main wheelhouse is the kind of like sassy art pop disco beat, like the screamo type stuff, like the Blood Brothers or XBXRX, that kind of stuff.
Awesome. So yeah, that's a very like it's all diverse, but there's like points of meeting or whatnot. That made sense in French. So we have a few. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think the like main combining factor is that love of like metalcore and like scene kid music and aesthetic that kind of drive us together.
So we have a lot of people coming in the chat. I'd like to welcome I Could Be You. So Rin is in a bit of a discussion with a defending gent.
It's not that bad. It's just not that bad.
It truly is not that bad. I mean, I think the most egregious elements of that, like I grew up listening to a lot of it, and at some point it became really overdone, but there are still some fantastic bands in that scene, and I think it's been one of the... Gent has been one of the scenes that introduced many electronic elements to metal that now bands outside of Gent are using. Like if you listen to the way like Tesseract mix their guitars, they kind of almost sound like synthesizers at some point, like the twinkly high-pitched guitars. And then bands like Northlane or Car Bomb or whatever are like really pushing the sounds you can get out of a guitar and mixing in like elements of almost dubstep sometimes.
Yeah, gent is like not personally my cup of tea, but I'm definitely, I enjoy that our producer is someone who is fond of that and who brings just a little bit of that flavor in, because I think it really adds something cool. I think it really helps like bring us into that like mathcore area. Like there are every now and then we have riffs that remind me of like Car Bomb or Frontier or stuff like that. So, you know, like even though it's not my personal favorite thing to listen to, I'm glad that that influence is there.
So 1111 is Ryamu, right? Ryamu is saying songs should be fun and Tesseract is not fun. Shots fired.
It was very hot, some hot takes being put up in the chat.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Can we say thank you for the follow for Guy Bus Christ? Christ? I don't know how to pronounce that, but Guy Bus Christ is now following us. Hello.
I think it's Christ because, you know, like Jeebus, like
no,
Jeebus
it's
instead
Christ.
of cheese.
The R and the I's are around. Yeah, it's Christ.
Oh, okay. Jeebus. So yeah, like I'm obviously like I grew up listening to like power metal and gent, and then Alpha Botus is like synthwave, power metal, and gent. There's not a lot of gent in there, but I'm working on a band right now that is hopefully one day gonna see the light of day, where it's like I'm gonna call it cyber prog because it's like all of the cyber part of cybergrind, but the grindcore is replaced by progressive metal instead.
Interesting. That'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been I have too many projects, not a lot of time, and those songs are hard to play.
So thank you to AVR for following us, but we've just had our subscribe. Yay! We just hit our subscribe target.
We did it.
Ooh, we did it. So thank you, Jeebus Christ. Christ. Oh, I see. All right. Jeebus. Right, I get that. Okay. But it's Christ for sure. So we'll be running the raffle. You'll need to be a follower if you want to join the raffle to win all the digital goodies from all the bands that are talking this evening. We will do that later on in the show. So thank you very much for us hitting our goal. That's the first goal we've ever set, and it's the first one we've managed to get through. So there you go.
That's good. Like awesome. 100% of our goals have been hit. Yeah,
you're
amazing.
1 for 1.
1 for 1. So we'll do that later on. We'll be on here till 9 o'clock, so we'll do it at the end. Thanks. Yay.
And for our Canadian and American listeners, not 9 o'clock U.S. time, of course. As much as I don't know if I would like a 7-hour stream. I think I'd want to go to sleep at some point.
Yeah. There's some people who watch streams that long. I just can't imagine. I don't have that kind of attention span. That's why I listen to grindcore.
Yeah, and that is why the ThXtcrime record has 12 or 15 songs in 16 minutes.
Yeah. That's everything's about a minute long. So a couple are closer to the 45-second mark. I think what you'll see with our future stuff is that there are going to start to be longer tracks and a lot more electronic influence, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give away too much, but we have one track that will be coming out in the next couple of months that I'm really excited for people to hear. That is awesome. Actually, I think, around 3.5 minutes long, as opposed to 50 seconds. So
would you say that you're going more heavy yet more melodic? No, I'm just kidding.
It's hard to say what our direction is going to be, really. And I think that our next couple of releases are going to be splits, and I think that that's going to be kind of a sort of time to kind of play around with stuff. And when we start writing for our second album, which I hope to have out sometime next year, we'll have a hopefully have like a something more long form and cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of being able to play around with some stuff, because with one of these releases, the track we contributed towards it, we actually wrote from the ground up, like for that release.
Mm-hmm.
And the other split we're doing, a couple of the tracks for that were actually kind of leftovers from
Mm-hmm.
when me and Kez were writing the tracks that became On Your Computer. And then we've got a couple of covers that are going to be thrown on there of some lesser known. Well, one of them is they're both like unsigned kind of people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Music. I don't want to give away who they are, because I think people who know, who are in the know, I guess, will be excited about them. But
Awesome.
I think it's cool like kind of trying to do your own spin and interpretation of your friend's music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a little nerve-wracking, like worrying about whether you're doing it justice.
Yeah, I can definitely see that I get that tension when I do remixes. I'm still one day I'll finish the ThXtcrime remix I started and didn't have time to finish before the deadline.
No worries.
It's just
I will look forward to hearing it when it's done.
I've been kind
We're
of
gonna
making
keep our we're gonna continue to have our stems available for people to play around with in perpetuity. So
that's a great thing.
Anybody, if any aspiring producers out there who want to go fiddle with those, in our link tree, there's a little link to our Google Drive folder with stems for all of our tracks. So remix and sample to your heart's content.
Awesome. So I wanted to get to one of your other projects a bit during the chat. So you're one of the persons who run Alien Heart Records. So I wanted to talk a bit about what you do with, like, what's the mission statement? You touched briefly on that earlier, and what are your plans and achievements with Alien Heart so far?
Mm-hmm. Well, our sort of mission statement, I guess, is we are, in Mara's words, we are a trans first record label. So our goal is to work with musicians within the transgender community and try to help spotlight them and give them a platform that might otherwise be difficult to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still in a pretty we're still kind of just starting out. We've only been at this for about 6 months or so, but we're doing cassette tape releases. We have our sort of net label side of things where we have releases hosted on Bandcamp,
Mm-hmm.
and we do some various other things, like we have a merch, like we do merch for people through a print on demand thing. We have periodic live stream shows, and hopefully once in-person shows can start happening again, hopefully we'll be able to host some in-person shows. And we also do compilation records that the proceeds from all of our compilations go to benefit various activist groups, charities, funds like that, to usually focused on the trans community or some other like social good.
That's awesome. Because I became aware of that, of course, following you and Mara. I've been friends with Mara a while. We never actually met, even though I went to Philly like multiple times. It just never lined up.
Yeah.
Definitely on my to-do list next time I go to the States.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find one of the things that I like about, like we touched about that on cybergrind, but also there's a real sense of community in the like heavy and weird side of music that you guys are doing, and everybody's like, I've been on the big money cybergrind groups and Discord, and it's like a real sense of community that everybody is trying to help everybody out to like make everybody better, and I think that's really great. And spending some time in the black metal community for a while, like that's not happening there really. And that was like, I'm always sad when people try to like make up arbitrary rules about what's worth it or what's not, because if like some people are like, if you're like old, you can't do music, and like the world would not have Death and Gloria if people were like, 28 is too old to start a band, blah blah, and we wouldn't have like the fun stuff that ThXtcrime and Alien Hearts are doing if people had gate kept you all from making music, because it's not real grindcore.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason that we felt the need to start this label in the first place, is that there is a lot of gatekeeping, especially of artists who are like part of marginalized groups, and so we're trying to help artists get over that hurdle and like get a platform and get some listeners to their music, because there's a lot of really amazing, innovative music going on out there that where the artists just kind of don't have the means to reach an audience, and that's where we want to kind of step in and help out a bit.
Awesome. So have you got so Riam was saying that ThXtcrime is tunes. I do not know what tunes mean, but I'm assuming it's a...
I assume it's a positive.
That's a positive, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, tunes.
Is it from the word
Thank
tune?
you for that.
Tunes, yeah, it means it's a good tune.
Oh, okay. It's,
excellent.
Okay, yeah, I get.
Well, thank you. It is appreciated. All the positivity is appreciated.
So it's we're on the Bandcamp Friday week, so it's coming. Do you two have plans for Bandcamp Friday? I know I do, but I'll talk about those later. So Rin or Melody, go ahead.
Well, the main thing is ThXtcrime is going to be releasing our on your computer remix compilation. So I think a month or two after our album dropped, we made all the stems from the album available and kind of threw them out there and was like, hey, we want to put out this compilation of remixes. So and we got like something like 25. We got a lot of submissions from a wide variety of different artists, and it's going to be a really cool release. It's got a lot of our friends on there and a lot of other really good artists in EDM, breakcore, noise rap, harsh noise, a drone, various other things all in there. One of my personal favorites is the one we most recently released is a single, the Void Dweller remix.
Void Dweller is great.
Yeah, they're a good pal of mine and a really, really talented musician, and their remix, just when I heard it just put a huge grin on my face.
Awesome. So Rin, what are your plans for this Bandcamp Friday?
Just before I go into that, I'm just going to put this giveaway on, because I was thinking if we hit a stream goal, we should do a giveaway and then restart the stream goal, and then we could give away something else. We can do it more than once.
Yeah.
We could do that. So I'm just going to start the giveaway in the thing. The raffle is on. You just have to put command raffle to enter, and then you'll get a big box of digital goodies sent to you somehow, because I haven't created the box yet, but it'll happen. Bandcamp Friday. I've just actually written down that I have a digital locker that used to come. I didn't do CDs. I did USBs, and I should probably have that on my Bandcamp because it's literally one zip file, and the I guess the USB was 15 quid, and it gets you into like a special a special mailing list that is specific for that album, and then everything I ever release for that album they get as well. So when something's remixed, they automatically get that.
That's cool.
When I eventually bring out the Japanese versions of everything, they'll get that. If it's ever made into a proper anime, that they will have already got that kind of thing. So I should put that on Bandcamp, I was thinking. But as you know from conversations we've had in the marketing mixer, is that I have a bit of an issue with not Bandcamp, it's with bands and Bandcamp. And maybe now is not the time for me to get political about it. And it's not really political at all, I suppose. It's just a bit of an opinion. That Bandcamp exists on all days of the year and not just Bandcamp Friday. And I think it's a bit disingenuous for bands only to push things on Bandcamp Friday. I appreciate why we do it, but it's a partnership.
I get that.
And I've probably sold as much. I've only been on Bandcamp. I shouldn't even be talking. I've only been on Bandcamp a month, and I sell as much on Bandcamp Friday as I do on the rest of the days. Which has been quite significant. I mean, I should have been on there the whole time. I'll be honest. If that revenue grows, if that revenue was to triple at the moment, then that would be a significant amount of money my direction per month kind of affair. Yeah. So it's a good thing. And I should have done it earlier. But I've seen bands that only release their pre-sale for the album on Bandcamp Fridays, and
and they disable it afterwards.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And they're a great band. I'm sure they're not going to even watch this. And if you're doing that, you're a great band. But I just don't feel that that's being fair to Bandcamp.
Yeah, no. The one thing I liked about Bandcamp Friday is that, like, on social media, a lot of people are actively looking. Like, it kind of concentrates the audience of people who are looking for new music on these days. But I agree that, like, making it so that Bandcamp doesn't earn their share on that day is kind of long-term not great for Bandcamp. I do really enjoy seeing the number of, like, money paid to artists skyrocket after each of these ones, though. Like, they've recently passed 666 millions given to artists, and then which I think is crazy. Like, they're nearing $1 billion with this, community focused platform. I have big plans, though. So I joined the band called Diplomat recently, which is just French for diplomats. And they were good friends of mine. I was hired to produce the album, and then I was going to play the bass on the record. And then I said, like, you know what, let me just join the band real quick. And
why not?
I'm already doing so much.
Just let me in. Just let me in. It's fine.
Yeah, and we have a new single coming out. So this Bandcamp Friday. So this Friday, it's called Sooner, and it's take all of the sad parts from Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and throw in a bit of Radiohead and a bit of Montreal indie rock, and you've got that single. So yeah, that
sounds like a really interesting combo.
Yeah, I love, like, I'm a big fan of, like, all of the grunge movement, and I never had an outlet for that kind of songwriting and production, and it's been great, like, doing mixes that only have 8 tracks in them instead of the humongous amount of synthesizers that go in Alpha Botus usually.
Yeah.
So do check out the ThXtcrime Remix EP Friday. I will be sharing that on my accounts as well, because I love ThXtcrime. And do check out, go buy the Death and Gloria merch. But you can buy it, you can buy it Sunday or Saturday as well.
You can just buy it directly from deathandgloria.com and fuck Bandcamp. Just do that. That's why I didn't go to Bandcamp in the first place. I don't mean fuck Bandcamp. I'm not saying that.
No, I get it. Yeah.
That's why I didn't have Bandcamp, because when I started the album, this band 4 years ago, I thought Bandcamp was for people who didn't have websites. You know, that was it. And I also thought it was very nichey to Doom and all those genres, which I'm not part of.
Uh-huh.
So that was kind of why I didn't do it. But obviously, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. I can fully admit I was wrong. That's all fine. But I have a website, and I kind of thought people will go to my website, won't they? No, they won't. They won't, because they're all on Bandcamp. They're all searching through Bandcamp.
The one thing I love about Bandcamp is their community features that they've been building up over the past few years. But I've gotten like at least 50% of the sales that Alpha Botus does on Bandcamp are from people that we reached like only through Bandcamp. Like they saw one of their friends bought a record and they clicked on it in their collection and they bought it, or someone left a review on Bandcamp and that drove a sale, or people just saw it in the feed. That's like a really cool thing. The one thing I wished was better is I wished people started like interacting on the community tab, like responding, leaving comments and stuff. So I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to step up my game in the community tab, because I think it's like great to have a social aspect that is only music. Oh, Peter has 2 good comments. So he said Doom and Gloria, which I definitely want a Doom record or a Doom cover of Death and Gloria. Speaking of Doom, Fistful of Doom just showed up in chat, so hi Jamie. And Bandcamp isn't blocked by work, which is a big draw for me. So it gets around the workplace restrictions, because I guess it's considered a web store and not a streaming site.
Yeah, that's good. All those remember that every country, the biggest employer is the civil service. So anything that gets through that ad blocker, that's what people are going to be listening to.
Yeah. I definitely am a big fan of the whole like Bandcamp discovery and all of that, the features that they've added for that. Because I like you said, I've noticed too. Like I feel like every other purchase or so, the email I get is like, you just somebody bought your album courtesy of the Discover tab, or courtesy of the feed. And it's like, it's so cool how you get on the site and there's just that constant stream of what people are buying going past, and then you scroll down a little further and there's like a little widget that lets you say, I want to see what's popping in the grindcore section. And I guess that we end up featuring fairly prominently in like the grind and mathcore tags because people keep finding us there.
Yeah,
and I get comments on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff on our pages that are like, hey, I found you on Bandcamp and your music is amazing. So it's cool like having that it's become more than just a place to sell your music, really.
Yeah. I've recently watched a fantastic live set on Bandcamp by one of our future guests, Alpha Chrome Yayo. It was like we had like about 100 people in the crowd and the chat was just going wild. I think they could do better. Like they could add some more features. Some things that Twitch has are great, like a tip jar, but you can just buy the albums. But
I imagine that it's still a work in progress, especially considering they still haven't rolled it out to everyone.
Yeah.
But you can just use the Twitch tip jar on any platform. I did it on Facebook a while ago.
Oh yeah, true. I guess you could do that. Yeah. The one thing I found really cool in Bandcamp is you have like the merch table below the live stream and you see what people are buying in the chat.
Oh yeah.
So,
that is really, I thought it was really cool. I actually did. We haven't gotten it on the ThXtcrime page, but I got it on my solo page. And I was kind of poking around and I thought it was really cool that you can like set up a little merch table with like, you want to highlight these releases and these t-shirts or whatever.
Yeah. And so that show was absolutely wild. We'll get into it when Alpha comes on the show, but he did a cover of Break Stuff that was just amazing.
Oh my God, yes.
And he had like a full visual montage behind him. But what was great was that he dropped like the pre-orders from a new album at the end of the night, and like out of the 100 people that were there, like literally half of them just straight up bought the record after the show.
That's amazing.
And that was just like seeing the love and the emojis in the chat and all that was great. It really felt like, you know, being part of something. And I think that's, if Bandcamp like manages to make that experience even better and improve upon it, like it's gonna be our generation's, you know, basement like the next generation's basement shows are gonna be like Bandcamp live streams.
I am looking forward to finally getting that power on the ThXtcrime Bandcamp.
Yeah.
I'm also really looking forward to unlocking the vinyl crowdfund thing. Because people have been asking us, like, when is ThXtcrime going to do a vinyl release for so long? And it's like, whenever we get the funding to actually do that. So
it's so expensive.
So it would be cool to be able to crowdfund that and then like add in like those little perks to encourage people and all that fun stuff. So I'm in the meantime, I will be aggressively checking my Bandcamp email to see when I get new superpowers.
I haven't even got a payout yet. So there you go. I have not even managed to get the $50 payout yet.
Do they hold the money? Because I get paid like directly after a while.
Yeah,
but I think
you have to hit the first. You have to hit the first $50.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which I haven't heard.
The one thing I loved is that whenever someone buys something on Bandcamp, I get an email that tells me who bought it and their email, and I can just click on their email and send them like a personalized thank you.
I always send a message back. I send a message back to them. For sure.
And I also, I think what's great is like, because I've spent as much time on Spotify than I do Bandcamp, and like they're both trying to highlight artists, but I think what's great with Bandcamp is that you're not competing against Lil Nas X and Cardi B and Kanye West. You know, you're like, you're not competing with the heavyweights that have millions of marketing dollars behind them. So like I think ThXtcrime managed to like get the first like chart on the cybergrind chart when you released or whatnot. Like you were
we made it to like when you go to the like just genre tag for cybergrind, for a while there we were like one of the top artists there. I think we were pretty high up on like grindcore and mathcore and stuff too, which was, and that's really great, cool to see.
Because you can have like those achievements without like being, you know, #1 hot rock albums or whatnot, which no underground artist is ever going to get.
It definitely like fosters more of a like cooperative atmosphere as opposed to like a competitive one. And I always like that because I really like to cooperate and collaborate with other artists. I don't really see other bands as competition. I see them as, you know, people who I admire, and because on top of being a musician, I'm a music fan, and so finding other bands that are in the same genre as me, it was like, I always see that as a really cool thing.
My band got their first show thanks to Bandcamp Discovery, actually.
Oh wow!
So that's a funny story. So we were a two guys doing instrumental synthwave. We just released like this EP that's behind me, I guess there, on Bandcamp. And then 3 days later, a guy from San Francisco emailed us and was like, "Hey, Alpha Botus, I saw your album and the new releases from Montreal, and my band is playing a show there in like 2 months and a half. Would you want to open for us?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it." And then we like built a live band.
Nice.
And that was it, which I think it's great. One of the things I'm gonna do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When things finally are open again and it's safe to do shows again, we definitely have on to-do list is to get a ThXtcrime live show together. But what that ends up looking like is going to be really interesting, because we definitely aren't going to be approaching it in like the traditional like rock band format. It'll be I mean, I've been looking at like playing around with Ableton Live and doing programming stuff to be able to be triggered by like a launch key or whatever. So it's gonna be interesting, especially if we end up doing shows like side by side with heavy bands. It'll be interesting to see that like juxtaposition.
You should like, if you have an old Rock Band or Guitar Hero controller, know that these are fully functional MIDI controllers.
Oh,
so
I do have a lot of those. I have a lot of the
Wii,
like the Wii ones.
Yeah, so you could trigger.
Work, yeah.
I think there's an adapter for the Wii ones on the like to plug them into the computer, but you can trigger like samples with a Guitar Hero controller.
Oh, that would be excellent.
That would be like a really fun tongue-in-cheek approach to having a launch pad.
Yeah.
I know I've been working with Ableton for what, like, I mean I started doing music production in Ableton because it came with my interface, and I just never looked back. It's fantastic for live shows. Like for Alpha Botus, I have all of my guitar effects are controlled by Ableton, like sending MIDI into my pedal board, and then the keyboard patches change on their own with program changes. So because the singer of the band also plays keyboard, so he doesn't have the time to like fiddle around presets live. Ren, what tech do you use to power your AI companion?
I can't tell you. It's magic. No, I'm joking.
Oh, it's magic.
No, it's not. It's Logic. I use Logic.
Okay.
Logic. Yeah. But I go around it in a really very specific way that doesn't... I mean, I have a laptop that only gets used for stage, so it's got nothing on it. And it doesn't get used for anything else but for stage stuff.
Yeah, I usually clean. Like, I use my laptop as for other purposes, but when I have a show coming up, I like just dump all of the the non-show related stuff on a hard drive, separate hard drive, and like clean it up so that it runs like a fine-tuned machine. So we've got Lauren Inge.
Yep, that's my friend Lauren. Hi, Lauren. Oh,
hi. So she says hi, Mel. And Riamu with the life advice: say yes, then learn how to do it later. That is a great way to go about. I'm always trying to say yes. I do a lot of improv, dramatic improv, and that's like the first rule. You say yes and, which is why I'm now in 5 bands and don't have enough time to have a life.
It is it's been an interesting challenge, like trying to approach that music production live thing electronically, because I've never been more recently I've become like a listener of electronic music, but I've never been someone who makes electronic music. My area of expertise has always been like rock bands, playing the guitar with amps and pedals and stuff. So actually like loading everything into a DAW and being like, okay, here's how I'm going to do this live has been like it's like learning a new language. It's like I feel like there's certain people who have this perception that like electronic music is just like, oh, you just press a button and then it does the thing for you, and it's like, no, it's not like that at all.
I wish
it would be so much easier if it was. But it's just such an interesting challenge trying to learn that. And luckily I have really amazing people like Mara and Kezia in my court who can help me out with that. I think Mara's talked about like if we ever get to go on tour, just like setting everything up in Ableton and then like like swooping down to Illinois, picking me up, and then like showing me how to do it in the car on the way to the gig.
That's a way to go. Honestly,
Yeah.
the coolest things in Ableton is how flexible everything is, like the routings you can do in there. And the crazy thing is, like, in the new version in 11, they've like improved the follow actions, so you can have like, sorry for the very technical segment here, but I'm a big nerd. So you can have like all of the segments of your songs like one after the other, and they all trigger each other like automatically. So you can like start the song and then it goes through the motions, but you can also have randomized looping controls. So you could have like,
Ooh.
there's 50% chance that you repeat the riff once more, or there's 50% chance that you repeat the same riff but slower.
Interesting. That'd be fun.
And then you can, there's also like programs you could, instead of having the drummer follow a click, you can have Ableton follow the drummer with some Max for Life devices. I know a lot of like some people in jazz and like new jazz have tried this approach where you have like synths that are triggered by a drum.
Ooh, that sounds really cool.
Like it's a world of amazing feats of music, and then like hours staring at a screen wondering why the program doesn't work.
Yeah, there's like I look at like 2 digi sets I've seen fairly recently as inspiration. There was the Zombie Shark live from Hell World.
Yes.
Seeing I'd listened to that album like 1,000 times, but like actually seeing Corey perform all of it with his like Korg synth and his Chaos pads hooked up to the vocals of all things.
Yep.
And the laptop there, and then Bubblegum Octopus. We did a live stream thing that he was also doing, and his setup was ridiculous. He had like his like FL Studio and MIDI controller, and then like a pedal board and a theremin.
Yep, and the theremin does filter sweeps, which is really amazing.
Just that's where I want to get to with ThXtcrime. Just like have this like really ridiculous setup of gear and just be fiddling with it all while Mara like goes apeshit on the vocals.
So yeah, for those who don't know, Bubblegum Octopus is an amazing artist. You should check out. He's like one of the OG cybergrind or spaz score artists.
Yeah.
So it's Riamu, if you like ThXtcrime, you're gonna enjoy Bubblegum Octopus. It's the same
Bubblegum
manic
Octopus
energy.
was a very very influential thing. I think at least for me, the 3 biggest influences were Bubblegum Octopus, Blind Equation, my friend James, his Nintendo Core projects, and this mathcore group called Plastic Bag Face Mask.
That's a great name.
Yeah, and it was funny. They actually like hit us up a while after we got started and talked to us about collaborating, and it ended up they ended up having Mara do a guest feature on one of the tracks for their album Content.
Awesome.
Which I might be biased, but it's my favorite track on the album. That album, it was actually it was an interesting thing from them, because that album was like full of guest features. The vocalist from Fawn Limbs did a vocal feature on that, and I could be wrong, I could be misremembering, but I think the vocalist of The Sound That Ends Creation was on there too.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was a cool record.
Is it cold up
It's bloody
down in the
freezing. It's
basement.
bloody freezing. So normally I'm in my own studio, but I had a client today and we were filming right up until about the time I had to come on here. So rather than get my studio back up and running, I've got like a 20-meter Ethernet cable going from this studio, which is where I was filming today, into my studio, which is halfway on the other side of the building. And it is cold,
Wow.
and I can't do anything about it because it's an old building and it's freezing.
So Lauren Inge in the chat is Melody. I, Lauren Inge Brixton, am not a musical influence. Steam nostril emoji.
I think that Lauren has actually been a musical influence. I mean, she is a featured performer on one of my Zoey tracks. Actually, on 2 of them. It's just one of them has not yet been released. It's a 3-way split that one's going to be on. I think it's going to be through Laura's Girls, label run by Claire of Nigudaruma. They're really cool. They did the tape run for ThXtcrime. They've worked with a bunch of really cool harsh noise artists. Claire is a sweetheart and one of my favorite people. And I think in the future, when it comes to future physical releases, we will continue to work with them.
So
I know that we're gonna do another run of tapes at some point because
awesome.
I think a lot of people were disappointed that our tapes sold out so quickly the first time.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't get the time to even look at the pre-order. It was gone.
Oh, no.
So we've hit our second goal of the day. Second subscriber.
Second subscriber. Thank you very much, Spooky. You are the second subscriber tonight, which means we'll be running a raffle after our first raffle finishes. But I think our first raffle still has some time on it. I'm just going to have a look at it.
So
I don't know where,
while you're looking at that, we have 2 questions for Melody, and then we can go into the 8-ball replicant test segment.
Yeah.
So we have Riamu asking how, to Melody, do you know / like Bong Ra? And
I am familiar with that artist. My friend Samantha is the one who introduced me to them.
Same for me.
Yeah. I haven't listened to a ton of their stuff, but they're really, really cool.
Okay, my camera died, but while I'm changing the batteries,
somebody is just Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, Jamie Fistful of Doom asked if someone could explain the subscriber stuff.
So basically, I think you're new to Twitch, right? On the raffle, you need to be a follower, which you are, and then you need to be a subscriber if you want double points. I think I've set it up for the raffle.
Yep.
But the subscriber is a monthly thing you can do, and it starts off at like a $5 or something, and then the streaming channels get half of that subscriber limit, right? So those subscribers can be tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and I think tier 3 is like £25 a month or something like that. And the channels get 50% of that. You can, if you are a Prime subscriber, if you have Amazon Prime at home, you can use Abby can take you through this because she's done it before. There'll be a section somewhere on your stream that allows you to connect your Prime account to Twitch, and because Twitch is owned by Amazon, you get 1 free subscription to a channel every month, and that's on tier 1. It's £5. It's $5 or whatever it is. And interesting fact is that streamers don't get half of that. You get less than half for a Prime subscription. But, it's all worthwhile. And, if you get enough subscribers, then, it can keep the channel ticking over, and we can start sending physical products out to folks, because that was a really kind of an expensive thing that we did the last couple of weeks.
And subscribing also gets you access to this cool wolf emote that Death and Gloria has.
Oh, yeah, Spooky.
And you can use that
it.
emote. Yeah, Spooky just used it, and you can use that emote everywhere on Twitch, on every channel. So I can as a tall Matt subscriber, I can go and use my drummer's dab emote here in the chat.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's
It's
fun.
a great picture, Matt.
And you can also, one of the things I love is you can gift subs to people. So the other day, Matt and I raided a big streamer, a Twitch partner called Nick Hart, I think. What's his face? Nico Hart. Oops, I've switched over to his channel accidentally. So somebody gifted me a sub to their channel, so now I'm a subscriber, even though I had never seen his content before, which is cool. Great stuff.
I'd also say that once we get up to, I mean, at the moment we're kind of living the Viva Loca, so I guess, but I don't know what I'm saying. But when we get up to enough subscribers, we'll start doing content that is for subscribers only, which is not something that we're at a level to be doing right now. But that's something we'll do in future for sure. And we might have a Discord, which is for subscribers only, and all that kind of stuff. Once we build all that nonsense up. So yeah, I actually don't have the Discord thing up today. Anyway,
I
lost. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I saw a question about the creative process for Zoe in the chat.
I was about to bring that up too. It really depends. I'm still kind of fairly new to the whole like experimental harsh noise side of things. Actually today is the first anniversary of one of my earliest releases, which I found out courtesy of my friend Sven, who he runs a page called, he has a podcast called Champagne is Also a Band, and it's all about he has local musicians from our area come on to talk about their music and everything. And he also on his social media pages will do like a post to somebody in the community releases an album, and he'll like say on this day, however many years ago, this artist released this thing. So it was cool seeing that and be like, oh yeah, I did put that out a year ago today. Wow. But anyway, so with a lot of my stuff, the stuff I actually make with physical gear, I've got my main, like, I guess, instrument is a little Yamaha small mixing board. And then I've got like some distortion pedals and contact mics and stuff like that plugged in. And I usually, I don't really do much composing for noise stuff. I kind of just turn on all my gear and just start improvising. I'll usually just kind of go until it feels like the piece is finished and then shut everything off. A lot of times I just record into my phone speakers just because, it's noise. It's kind of raw lo-fi anyway. So, and sometimes I will take the recording, pop it into Reaper and add some processing to kind of beef it up. Other times I'll just like leave it as is. I've also been doing a little bit of stuff with a program called VCV Rack. It's a free program. It's essentially a simulation of a like modular synth Eurorack setup, and you can get all these packs of modules and to add to it. So it's a really great way to like kind of play around with modular synth without kind of spending modular synth money.
Because that's
expensive.
a hell of a drug.
But yeah, it's so I'll just when I'm doing the more computer like VCV rack noise, I'll usually like just start popping modules in that seem like what I'm going for and start connecting stuff and twisting knobs around and hit record when I feel like I'm doing something that I want to keep. But yeah, in terms of like how much is planned and what's done by feel, a lot of it really is for me kind of, I just feel it out as I go along. I definitely would love to in the future become someone who does a bit more composition and layering and stuff like that. Like like somebody like Uboa is a big influence noise wise. No, there are a lot of really great people out there who do stuff like that, like Pharmacon, and a lot of my friends in the noise scene do really cool stuff like that. But
awesome.
I don't know, I'm still kind of feeling my way around and just kind of doing stuff improvised, and it's working out for me so far.
That's great to hear. So aside from that, I think we're up to our little replicant identification segment. So
all right.
So if you want to go ahead and type !8ball question in the chat, and that will send you I can also do it, but it's
Okay.
I'll do the first one and then you can do the others.
While that's
Okay.
going on, yeah, oh yeah, he's got one. But just while it's going on, Peter won our digital box set in the first round of the raffle, and the second round of the raffle is now on. You do need to be a follower to get involved with the raffle, but you don't need to be a subscriber, and subscribers get an extra ticket, I understand. I hope. Yep. And then you can win a digital box set of all music from Death and Gloria, Alpha Bodis, and all the things that our guest today is into. Many, many, many things. Woohoo!
Yeah.
So we've got our first question from the 8 ball, and it is a doozy. It is, what is art?
Yeah, that is a dicey one. It's hard to really, I mean, it can be hard to say what is or isn't art, really, I like tends toward the broadest, most inclusive generally. And I don't know, I think anything that you get some kind of, any sort of stimulus that you get some kind of emotional response from can be art. I mean, people listen to field recordings that are just Tascam recording the sound of a brook running or something. People I don't know. I think
that's a good way to put
it sort of ties. Yeah, it sort of ties into like when people kind of try to make, like, when talk about what is noise versus what is music, and that I think even among noise artists, that is something that different people have different feelings about. I think there are people who would say it's like noise is not music, and I am actively rejecting music in my thing. And there are other people who would be like, noise, what I consider what I am doing music, because I approach it the same way. I think the thing about art is that in general is that it's kind of impossible to create one sweeping definition of it. It's, a lot of it is up to interpretation, just kind of like how individual pieces of art are kind of open to interpretation.
Yeah, no, I get it. I saw so I found a really funny quote the other day about art, but really about philosophy in general, and it was that the following phrase should be written above every philosophy department's door, and it is, the place where the longer you think about things, the sillier they get. And I think trying to define art is kind of like that. All right, so now we have the replicant question by Rihamu. So, while walking along in the desert sand, you suddenly look down and see a tortoise crawling towards you. You reach down and flip it over onto its back. The tortoise lies there, its belly baking in the hot sun, beating its legs, trying to turn itself over, but it cannot do so without your help. You are not helping. Why?
Interesting. That's an interesting question, for sure. I'm gonna say I failed apparently. Should I go ahead and continue to answer? Because I think I've already failed the test.
Don't listen to him.
No, it's okay. There's a points for trying.
I don't know, because the turtle is Mitch McConnell.
Oh, that's a great answer. That gets an A+ from me.
Cool.
So I think Fistful of Doom was asking about how the 8-ball works, not the raffle. But basically, Ren compiled a list of interesting questions for our guests, and the computer picks a random one and asks it every time we type the command, which is quite funny. Some of them are very short answers, others are hard, like the definition of art. So let's go with another question.
Actually, the question, which is the what was it? The Comp Voigt question from Blade Runner is actually is one of the random questions, so we might get it again. You never know, you might get it again.
Yeah. So, would you rather be trapped in an elevator full of men with BO or 3 soaked dogs?
I mean, neither of those sound very pleasant. I'm gonna go with the dogs just because I actually like dogs. I don't love the smell of a wet dog, but dogs aren't too bad. They also take up less room in the elevator, presumably, unless they're Great Danes.
3 Great Danes in a trench coat. All right, and our final question in the test is free will real or just an illusion?
I can't say I really... I think I'm somebody who believes that we have free will. But, if we didn't, we have that illusion either way, so... But I don't know. I believe people can make their own choices. I don't feel like things are predetermined.
That's cool. I can definitely say that the song Free Will by the band Rush exists, and that is all I will say on the topic.
Yeah, I will say that that's a very good song. I do like that band.
I don't agree I don't think we have free will, because we are meat machines and the programming is so well done that we can't even perceive it. So
we're like in a matrix, but the matrix is meat.
We're not in the matrix. We're part of the matrix. We're not inside it the way the film is. But
that'll be when I finally make a slam album. I think I'm gonna have the first album is gonna be called Meat Matrix.
That's a good title.
Oh, we've got an automod has. Oh right, okay. The automod has modded Riamu for saying the word meat popsicle. Yeah, I am a meat. I'm gonna lie that through. We're gonna lie that one through.
So. Funny music recommendation while we're on the subject of slam. I just found out today on Twitter. I'm gonna go find the link, but it is an album. It's a grindcore album, and the vocalist is a garbage disposal unit from.
My god, I saw that too. I haven't listened to it, but yeah, I should listen to that.
The illusion is uncanny. Like, it is really uncanny, but I will go and try to find it and plug that in the chat because that was really lots of fun. I actually have like a noise grind split on cassette tape where one of the
one of the bands, the quote unquote vocals on the album are literally just a recording of someone like hitting a bong.
Wow.
Just like the bubbling sound. That's like their like toilet bowl gore grind vocals.
Back in the day, back in the day, that makes me sound older than I am. A few years back, I went to Philly during the summer to visit my friend Sam, which is the reason I know all of the people in Philly, and the people who know the people in Philly, like you do. And we recorded an improvised hip hop album in Dave and Vince's living room. And Vince was just laying on the couch hitting a bong, and it caught in the recording, so we credited him for ambient dabbing.
Good.
That was very silly. Like, the music was improvised, the freestyle on top of the music was improvised, and nobody knew what they were doing. It was a very silly album. So I think that's about. I think we've come to a good point to wrap this very cool chat up and talk about a bit. So
we've got 17 minutes left on the raffle. So if you want to enter the raffle, you need to do it now. Just command raffle and you'll win a big digital box set of all the goodies of all the people that are on this chat now. There's only one person's entered it so far, and so get in and you will win, or you might win. I'm not saying you will. You might. Good chance.
You got a chance.
You got a good
chance.
One
shot, one opportunity.
Oh my God, are you going into an Eminem song? You so are.
No. I just do the joke. So Lauren in the chat is telling a very funny story about one time a guy was hitting on her, and she doesn't remember anything about this man except that he mentioned some noise project that rubbed two turds together for a recording. Yeah, that's a fun noise project.
That sounds like your man G.G. Allen, doesn't it? That's something he would have done.
It does.
Man. Clearly, I don't really think of that as being a successful flirting tactic, but who knows?
It's definitely the Russian guy.
I have shockingly enough, I have actually like hit it off with someone on a dating app because of a mutual love of harsh noise. So I guess it could happen.
It's a good filter. Like, you're gonna filter out a lot of people who wouldn't be compatible with that.
You
might end up alone though. That's
for sure.
It's small town. And I gotta say, if they didn't call that noise project "You Can't Polish a Turd," they really missed out.
Oh yeah.
You can't polish
or
a turd.
Turd polisher. All right, so what about writing a band name in crap? Does that show love if said band?
I've seen some logos that kind of look like that.
Yeah, the bus, the school bus cushion band logos that are just like scratches.
Yeah.
So Melody, what have you got coming up in the next few weeks that you'd like to talk about as we wrap this up?
Well, I mentioned the remixed album that's dropping this Friday of ThXtcrime. I also actually tonight on Zoom, I will probably post. I'll try to post a link on my socials a little closer to the time, but my area. Some organizers in my area put together a trans musician showcase on Zoom.
Cool.
That I'm gonna be performing a couple of songs on the acoustic guitar, and they're gonna play a couple of ThXtcrime videos on the stream as well. So that'll be tonight. I think at 7:00 Central Time. But I posted a poster on my Twitter account and Instagram, so you can find it there. What else do I have going on? Alien Heart Records, our third compilation album, is in the works. We have all our submissions. We're in the middle of mastering it and getting it ready for tape. So that'll be sometime in the coming weeks. We'll have that. Other than that, I also have a newer project. It's sort of on the like D-beat raw punk kind of side of things. The project's called It Girl, and that one is still in the works. Vocals are still being recorded, but at some point hopefully in the near future, that should be out as well. And that's about it, I think.
So Riamu is asking, raw punk or raw punk?
It's raw punk, as in,
yeah,
the sound of 4 very angry Swedish dudes in a very small room in a basement with like a cell phone recording into it, that kind of sound. The influences for that project would be like, Gloss, Totalitar, Disclose, Discharge, all those, the whole D-beat kind of thing. I've been doing a lot of stuff in like noise and grind and stuff, and it's cool to kind of like go back to the punk thing. And right now it's just me and a vocalist, but in a room with 3 guys with BO, that does sound like a GB band.
It does.
Sounds like crust punks. But yeah, I'm hoping that once shows come back and once people can jam again, I'm hoping that I can turn that into an actual like band that performs. But for now, it's just me in my bedroom playing guitar into GarageBand and then having my friends do vocals, because I don't really do shouty vocals.
Yeah, I get that. So Rin, what have you got coming up this week and in the next few days?
I don't know. I can't even think. I've been at work all day looking at cameras and whatnot, and I can't even think of what I'm doing. I think what I'm going to do on a Friday, so I do a thing called Death by Admin, which is, the name of my next album. But I also think I'm going to give the hour of Death by Admin to people who want me to show them how to do a thing live.
Oh, that's
on
great.
Stream, right? I don't know. It could be anything, anything that I can do. I can't do anything very well to make money out of teaching people. But so like a lot of people ask about Canva, so I might go over Canva again first for newbies. And I've got an idea of how people can use OBS and Canva as their all-in-one go-to recording, live streaming, digital stuff, because between Canva and OBS you can do everything, including like scheduling on social media and all that kind of stuff. So I thought about that. So if anyone out there wants me to show them one thing that we can get done in an hour, if it's something that I can do, then let me know at info@deathandgloria.com, or just hit me up on any of the socials, and we'll do that. So if it's Friday mornings at 10 o'clock in the morning, and if I don't get any, then I'll just go back to animating my music videos, which is what we've got going on at the moment.
Awesome.
And then Grunge Morning will be on Saturday morning from 11. Once again, I can see that some people have been trying to use the lights, the Team Lights stream points on here. Those don't work on this particular stream. It's only when I have a Saturday morning and my stage lights are in, and then you guys control the stage lights. And we've been finding loads of nice combinations of stage lights. Now we've got Parma Violets and one called Biscuits on the Grass, or Biscuits on the Lawn, and it looks like 2 toasty biscuits on a lawn. It's very good. That's the kind of crap we get up to on a Saturday morning. So if you're into grunge and you're into some weird woman singing them into your ear on a crap acoustic guitar, then that's the show for you to watch, to be honest. Yeah.
Peter is asking to show him how to fudge his taxes.
Oh, I can definitely show you how to fuck up your taxes. I mean, that's something I probably do myself. I can easily do that. No problem. Anything that I actually can't do, and if you want to know how to do it badly, then I'm up for that too. You know, just anything at all. Anything at all.
How to Basics Death and Glory edition.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we'll just do it wrong. That's fine. Yeah, I used to hang out with a lot of piercists back in the day, and I can't say back in the day because it was a long time ago. And like the people would come into the piercing shop with like bad piercings, you know, like they'd gone to like Claire's Accessories and had their lip pierced or something ridiculous. And the piercist was always being asked to fix the problems. And she was just like, I'm not fixing that. But why don't you come back here and I'll give you a haircut because I can't fucking do that. And you seem to just want to ask anyone to be able to do it anyway. I'll give you a haircut, love, but it'll be fucking shit.
That's the attitude.
That's the attitude you want. That's true. Yeah. So that's me. I'm just going to see how long we've got. I'm just going to end this. I'm just going to end the raffle. We're going to end the raffle.
Yep.
I'm going to pick the winner because there's one person and it's Fistful of Doom.
Well, congrats, Fistful of Doom. You already have most of my music, so now you have all of it.
Yeah, so there you
Awesome.
go. You've won all of it. Can you, Fistful of Doom, can you just private message me with your email and I will send you the stuff? I don't need to ask Peter for that because I'm already in contact with him for other things. So yeah, Fistful of Doom, get in contact, private message me on here or he's friends of yours, is he? Is he a friend of yours? already?
Well, yeah, we're on Twitter together. So,
Okay. So just contact one
just
of
know
us.
each other
Just
through-
whatever. Get your email to us either way, and we'll send you over. You don't know how. Fucking hell, love.
No, but just Jamie, just send me a DM on Twitter.
There you go.
And I'll make sure you get your music. He's another one of the lovely people I met through Curtis.
Yay!
Rian was saying Alt F4.
Yeah, so
So-
yeah, do that, and then I have to put the digital box set together tonight actually because I didn't get to do it before it came online. So I'll send that over after this show. But before we get on to you, Etienne, I should tell you who
Yes.
you've got next week. We should talk about next
Yes.
week because first of
Yes,
all,
which-
I have a client. My biggest client has employed me to do a couple of live streams on a Wednesday night, so I will not be here next Wednesday. I think it's just the
I'll be
easiest
all
thing.
alone.
All alone. I might come into the chat after my stream, but I won't be on stream. And you have Taylor D. Waring. Taylor D. Waring. He's from the band Murloc, and he's also one of
Yeah.
Curtis's fellas.
Yeah. I've heard of his band. It's great. Oh, that's gonna be a cool chat.
Yeah, we were supposed to have Amos Williams from Tesseract, but I bumped him onto a week I can talk to him. So there you go. I think
Yeah,
he's going to
he-
be on the 28th now.
I can't wait to talk to Amos. I'm a big Tesseract fan. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be starstruck for the first wee minutes there.
First 3 minutes.
Yeah, I have watched too much of Dairy Girls.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, so what have you got to end us off?
All right, so my week is a busy one. So Friday I'm releasing the first single in 2 years with my band Diplomats. I'm gonna drop the Bandcamp link. It's a great moody alt rock song. I'm pretty happy with my mix. And it's going to be the first song of an EP that's coming out later in the year, so we're like trickling them out. And then I will be in the studio Saturday with another band that I can't really share details about. It's a very secret project. But we're going to be tracking vocals for that band, and I'm being the producer on that. And it's really exciting. It's got a full string section. It's got blast beats, and it's in Phrygian dominant, which is my favorite scale. I'm really happy about that project. And after that, Friday, for Bandcamp Friday, before going to the studio, I'm doing a review stream on my channel, Ozymandias Buddhis. I have like a long list of submissions, and I'm just going through blind and clicking around in Bandcamp, listening to a bunch of stuff, giving my 2 cents on it, leaving reviews, buying music, supporting creators. And if you come onto the chat, you can suggest me things, you can listen to music with me, and just have a grand old time. I'm going to be doing that at 4 p.m. Eastern, I think, but I'll update the time on my socials if it changes. So yeah, that's my week.
Cool.
Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Sorry, just before we go, we're going to raid. We're going to raid. I can tell you now.
yeah.
We've got 12 viewers. We're going to raid Quang. Quang is a friend of mine, but he's also gift subbed 10 people onto this channel. So he's basically, him singularly is propping up the entire channel, pretty much.
Yep. He's our George Soros.
Yeah, he's just all over it. He's doing his coding club at the same time that we're online. So he is coding Game Boy games, I believe, because that's what he does now for a living. What a champ!
Awesome.
What a champ! So
Yep.
will we go and raid him then? Shall we do that?
Yes.
Cool. Please just go and give him some love. Give him some love for a wee while. He's an amazing fella. I once had a computer problem and he came across all the way from North London to South London, came to my house, fixed my computer, wouldn't take any money for it. He is a gem of a man. I'll be honest. Gem of a man. Okay, we're gonna raid him. I'm gonna try and start this raid. I don't really know how raids work, but you know. You don't need a link, Riamu. We're just in 6 seconds. You're all gonna go. So
Yep.
have a nice day, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Thanks again, Melody, for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.